think we probably could find another instrument that has, another guitar that has a little bit better, something like that. Yo, Chris, what is the best way to play keys over sample beats? Okay, the best way to play keys really over anything, first and foremost, is to know the key that you're in, is to know the key that you're playing in, right? That's the first thing. And then I would do it by layers. I would do it by layers and by steps. So what I mean by that is this. So let's say I have my sample and the sample is going and I want to add, like I said, I want to add some piano, right? Now, and let's say I happen to know that the key is F major. So F major it's just pretty much all white keys. You just got that one B flat that will give you a different key, right? So the first thing I need to do is just know my keys, right? So that would be my chords that I could play inside of that, inside of that groove, inside of that sample. Then I could get crazy and start, doing bigger chords, right? But it really doesn't matter. It's to take it step by step and, level by level. So of course, if I got my bass line, so if I go F and then C and then G and then A, let's just say that's what my keys are. See how it's like you just start building into it, right? You just start building it. So, of course, you can also split it, right? So what I'm saying is you can start simple with just your chords. And then, of course, you could do more complex chords. Right? So still the same thing, you're just playing chords. So that would be like step 2 or level 2. And then you could just start adding in notes in between that. And it don't really even matter what notes, right? You just add a note. So right there, I'm just adding one note. And then you can start adding more than one note. So you start with chords. So you start simple with simple chords that you know, and then you can maybe add bigger chords, have more complex chords instead of just the simple triads or the sustained chords. What I was doing, maybe start adding in some sevenths. Start adding in some even crazier chords, and then add in some notes in between your chords. Now, the last step is kind of like just improvisation, where it's like, oh, we're adding in some stuff. We're adding in passing chords. We're adding in more notes. We're creating melody. We're maybe playing the chord in our left hand, and then we're playing, we're playing melody in our right hand. So as we're learning to play piano, we can play different things. So like I said, we're playing melody in right hand. And then in terms of just some tips in terms of like playing melody or playing keys, some things that we might overlook and, forget or not realize how powerful they are is like repetition, right? Just repeating something. Like you don't always have to play something different. Like you really could just play the same note. You know what I'm saying? And just by playing that one note, you know what I'm saying, a certain way, okay, so should I practice by ear? Of course, you should practice by ear, but even more so, you should learn the chords for that song. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you should learn the chords for that song. So you're using your ears to you can use the ears to figure out the chords. You could go online and just figure out the names of the chords. So at some point, if you don't know chords, like, okay, like if you called out a chord right now, I could figure it out, right? Like, you just put certain numbers and letters together. That's chord notation, chord voicing. I could figure it out. Not everybody can do that just yet. So to some degree, you're definitely going to be playing by ear. You know what I'm saying? But more than playing by ear, it's just like having some structure or having some technique to build into what you're trying to do. And what you're trying to do is play along with the sample, right? You're trying to play over your beat with the sample. So it might even just be picking your spots. Like, oh, I don't need to do everything. Like, I was doing all 4 chords. But maybe in the beat, you know, maybe you just play one thing and then wait for the next chord. Like, we skipped the chord, see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it just depends on what you're trying to do. The last step is like improvisation, where you're just like, when you're just playing notes and you're just kind of playing around with a melody, and you're playing around with a melody, or you're trying to find, you know, you're just trying to jam out or rock out. Like, the main thing is learning the chords and learning the scale. Because once you have the scale, then as long as you're playing in the scale, you'll be okay. So F major, see how as soon as I play something outside of the scale, you can hear it immediately. That's not in the scale. That's not the scale. It has a very major feel. And the minute you play something that's out of that scale, you can hear it immediately, right? So that's the thing. So playing piano, learn your scales, learn your keys, learn your scales, and then just play along with it. And just remember, as music producers, we are not tied down to anything. The tempo of the song, the tempo of the sample might be 100 BPMs. You don't have to try to play at 100 BPMs. This track is at 120 or whatever. You don't have to do that. You could just slow it down. You feel me? Slow it down to something even slower. Now we at 90. I can very easily play this. Because I didn't have to play it as fast. See what I'm saying? So we can always just slow the tempo down, and then guess what? We played it at 90. Now we're gonna come over here, come back to 120, and because we have that ability as music producers to just, you know what I'm saying,